stumbling into trouble, it seems. And Andrew is just kind enough to sort of come along and say, you're right, you know. And yeah, he kind of helped me out. And we got to know each other from that downwards. It's strange beginnings. But
so you started off with the Farriss brothers, and then you moved on to...
Yeah, kind of. And we had these little experimental bands and stuff, didn't we, with different friends. We used to do mad things with, you know, tape machines and blow things up in general. And had a good time, you know, experimented a lot. And then we finally got the group that we have now together, about 77, yeah.
77, so it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know sort of like, what's the secret to the success of the fact that you've lasted for 20 years? Because, I mean, even for a relationship, that's a long time.
I know, it's strange. When we keep on getting asked this now, and I suppose it's a weird thing, isn't it? But, yeah, it's hard enough to keep a relationship this long. I don't know, I suppose... I think having 3 brothers helps in some ways because they know each other, so there's a kind of blood thing. And in other ways, you know, it's simple. I guess we like playing music together. We like finding out what happens when we get in a room and make a big noise, you know.
Do you find that you're changing, though, at the same time? Or, you know, in the sense of the same way you're evolving in similar style?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, when the band first started, I was kind of like Andrew's friend. I think that would be very, just, you know, and Kirk was really the singer, and Andrew used to sing a lot. Andrew used to have bands, he used to sing a lot. And it kind of evolved, you know, it's strange how it evolves. You know?
Yeah, I got pushed further and further up the back.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm just going to recap in French. J'aimerais vous dire qu'ils se sont rencontrés, c'était dans l'école secondaire qu'ils se sont rencontrés. Puis ils ont commencé à faire leur album The Farriss Brothers, et plus tard, ils ont eu INXS. Et je leur ai posé comment ça se fait, parce que ça fait 20 ans qu'ils sont dans un groupe INXS. Et j'ai demandé comment ils ont réussi à être ensemble pour si longtemps, parce que d'ailleurs, c'est très longtemps pour un groupe de rester ensemble. Ils m'ont dit que c'est parce que le fait qu'il y a 3 frères, ils s'entendent assez bien. Alors, il y a la relation familiale de sang. Tu comprends français un peu?
Un peu.
Un peu, mais tu vis à Paris, hein?
Oui.
Oui, OK. Alors, c'est ça. Alors, à cause des frères, et aussi, ils disent qu'ils évoluent pas mal bien dans le même façon. Alors, ça, c'est pourquoi ils sont restés ensemble 20 années. OK, now I'd also like to ask...
Very good. Your French is excellent.
Thank you. I'd also like to know, after, because you write a lot of the songs, both of you, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's the supreme
You're the main
with the
songwriter?
A-team, yes.
Okay. How do you get, what are your inspirations? I mean, after such a long time, what do you write about? Or did you ever go through a phase where you had nothing to say anymore, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I suppose so. You're like, well, I think I've said it all. Probably have said it all. I don't know. I mean, it's not as if you have the same inspiration and you have to sort of rely on it for the rest of your life. You know, you go through all kinds of changes and you have all kinds of experiences. So.
Speaking of which, you both have children now, right?
Well, Andrew's had children for quite a few years. You know, I've just had a baby. She's 13 months. Andrew just had a baby about the same age.
A boy.
A boy. Yeah.
And does that change your lifestyle at all? Does that?
Hopefully, yeah. In some ways, yeah, it's great. I mean, it's exciting. It's fantastic. I love it.
Okay, I'll just recap again. J'ai demandé, comme vous savez, Michael et Andrew ont des enfants. C'est tout récemment, Andrew vient juste d'avoir un nouveau enfant. Alors, j'ai demandé si ça a changé un peu leur style de musique, puis il dit bien sûr que oui, ça a changé ça. Aussi, j'ai demandé comment qu'ils ont fait, s'ils s'inspirent, après avoir fait 11 albums ensemble, comment ils s'inspirent à faire ça. Mais je vais vous parler de ça après la pause. On se reste toujours avec INXS.
Pas bon.
28 septembre, 20h.
Toujours Karina Hubert avec INXS. J'aimerais juste récapituler ce qu'ils ont dit avant la pause parce que je n'avais pas la chance de vous dire. Je leur ai demandé la question, après d'avoir fait 11 albums, comment est-ce qu'ils inspirent? Est-ce qu'il y a eu des temps dans leur vie où ils ne savaient pas quoi dire? Il m'a dit que oui, bien sûr, il y a des moments où ils ne savaient pas quoi dire, mais quand on évolue dans la vie, on a toujours d'autres choses à y décrire. Alors maintenant, on retourne. I want to ask you, okay, Elegantly Wasted is your 11th album. It's your 10th album in studio.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, because usually in the past you recorded an album every year.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And you waited about 3-4 years for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, we just don't know. What did we do? We just sort of said, see you when I see you. Andrew called me up.
Yeah, although there's some misconception about what actually happened there, because we did a greatest hits album as well, which you didn't kind of add to that as well.
Yeah,
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, but no, there's a live album as well.
Hits,
See.
yeah.
But the thing is that we did the greatest hits album at the end of '94. And then we took some time out for ourselves, and then at the end of '95 we started working on this album.
Yeah.
So it depends which way you look at it.
You've been working on it for a while.
Well, we had been talking about it, and thinking about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we spent 9 months writing it, very casually, you know, just picking it up wherever we wanted. That's the main difference, is that we didn't, you know, write it in a month and quickly, then spend a whole bunch of time in the studio. We actually wrote it over a long period of time, and had a really good time writing it, and recorded it. And as we went along, you know.
Oh, you did, because I read
just Andrew and I, yeah.
Demos. We started off doing demos.
Which means you did it just very spontaneous.
Yeah, very.
Okay.
So the album kind of ended up, you know, really only taking 2 weeks with the band in actual fact. 2 weeks or so of the band in the studio.
Okay.
We used a lot of the material from demos.
That's right.
So-called demos. I mean, these days, they're as good as an album, so whatever.
Actually, Canadian producer Bruce Fairbairn, who lives in Vancouver.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, well, he heard what we thought were demos and said, why don't you just use all of this?
Yeah.
And then the band thought that was a good idea, so...
Okay, so it took 2 weeks, right?
Well, you know,
2
to
weeks in
basic
studio.
tracks, yeah.
To cut
And
rhythm
how long
tracks.
did it take you to actually write the songs? About
9 months.
9 months.
Well, it's split up, I don't know, what do you
Okay,
all,
over
9 months.
You know,
It's
weekend
2 days,
here,
I don't know.
Right.
like that, yeah.
A few holidays.
Like when we were...
Maybe a month? Maybe,
Yeah,
all like
altogether.
total time, maybe a month, I guess.
It's
Okay.
like when we were kids again.
I'm just going to let them know this. J'aimerais juste vous dire, parce que beaucoup de gens veulent savoir pourquoi ça a pris plus qu'un an et demi pour réaliser cet album. Mais en effet, c'est qu'ils ont écrit pendant plusieurs temps. C'est pas qu'ils faisaient rien, ils écrivaient pendant tout ce temps-là. Thank you very much. Et ils ont enregistré ça en studio. Ça a pris seulement 2 semaines. Alors, c'est très spontané parce que c'était comme un démo. Ils ont enregistré ça vraiment comme un démo. Ça fait que c'est plus excitant pour eux. Right? It's more exciting for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got one more question. We've got 1 more minute. I know that you changed record labels.
Yeah.
You are now with Mercury in the States,
That's right.
And now you also have a new manager.
To the world? For the world, yeah.
Okay. And you have a new manager. It's now Paul Craig. Right?
Wrong. Wait, we had a new manager.
You had a manager, okay.
It's actually Martha Trout, over there.
There we go, Mother Trout. Now, why did you change record labels and why did you change managers?
Well, you know, things were on their course, basically. We finished our contract with Atlantic Records in the States, and that kind of covered everybody, and you know, which is rare to finish a contract. Most people, you know, stopped before then. So we just wanted to move on to one company for the whole world. We were sort of with different companies everywhere, so we went to one company for the world, and they're great. Mercury Polygram were really good to us.
Okay, so there was no riffs or anything.
No
problem.
Also, we've been doing this for as you put it, so, well, you said it before, 20 years. And I think what we found is that we need to have a situation business-wise that keeps us feeling fresh and moving forward and feeling good.
Yeah,
and,
change.
You don't want things to just get really old.
Stagnant. Boring. Terrible.
Hate that.
Hate it. Okay.
That's right.
I'll just have to. Well, je vais vous récapituler ça après la pause, mais je vais le faire tout de suite. Ok, je vais le faire tout de suite. Ils ont dit d'ailleurs qu'ils ont changé d'étiquette de disque. Ils sont maintenant avec Mercury et notre nouvelle gérante, c'est. Can I have your name again?
Martha.
Martha, c'est ça. C'est leur nouvelle gérante. Martha Trout, c'est ça?
Trout.
Trout, sorry, excusez-moi. Et donc, ils ont changé juste parce qu'il n'y avait pas de raison, il n'y avait pas de bataille entre les étiquettes de disques. C'est juste parce qu'ils voulaient avoir un changement, parce que je crois qu'ils ont eu beaucoup de changements dans leur vie. Alors, ils voulaient avoir un nouveau étiquette de disque pour leur représenter peut-être d'une nouvelle façon. C'est ça?
Oui.
OK. Et maintenant, on vous présente Don't Lose Your Head de Elegantly Wasted.
Bye-bye.
Losing grip, what really matters, 'cause you don't know where to start.
allô, c'est Karina Hubert avec Michael Hutchence et Andrew Farriss de INXS en entrevue. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Again.
Hi.
Okay, I'd like to know, I was told that Elegantly Wasted is sort of a mix of INXS past, present, future.
Yeah, people have...
I listened to the album, there's a lot of different styles.
Yeah, I think it sort of is. I mean, it takes a while to get a bit of distance from it, but it seems to have turned out like kind of, while trying to keep it fresh, kind of like partly sort of Listen Like Thieves and Kick, a bit like that, and half the record. And then the other half, I don't know, it sort of takes off in a different place.
Like Searching, for example, that song.
Yeah.
It's very, what would you say? Is it INXS present?
Well, I think it's a pretty sort of straight, it's kind of a soul song, really, so it's kind of our root, it's more rootsy for us, you know. It's a very sort of soul kind of song. And then a lot of the record's more introspective and more trippy, and especially lyrically, I think it's one of our best records, I think, lyrically, definitely. And, you know, it's quite, doesn't pull any punches, it sort of says what it wants to say.
Okay, cool. Okay. Do you have anything to say about that, Andrew?
Well,
I can sense
well, I was going to say, actually, ironically enough, because Elegantly Wasted is the next album we did after our Greatest Hits record, when we listened back to our Greatest Hits record, it's quite interesting to listen back to your own career yourself and absorb all that. And
because it came out in the record a bit.
Yeah, maybe, because I'm quite, well, happy with our Greatest Hits record. I think it's a really good record.
So basically it's a mix of your best, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, to me, a lot of artists tend to not have a lot of faith in what they do. They just sort of keep thinking that it's totally disposable, and to a certain...
I have to cut you off, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but...
OK. J'aimerais vous dire que ce soir, ils seront en spectacle le 21 au Métropolis à Montréal. J'espère que vous avez compris ça en anglais. Malheureusement, je ne peux pas vous translire ça. Maintenant, Elegantly Wasted avec leur clip Elegantly Wasted. Wasted. Sorry.
J'ai aimé pas mal, il a moins aimé, mais il a envie surtout Michael Hutchence aujourd'hui. Dis-nous pourquoi.
Ben, pour plusieurs raisons, mais quel chanteur de rock'n'roll.
Oui, c'est vrai.
Il a donné une leçon à tous les chanteurs blasés après un album, et Dieu sait qu'on en voit. Souvent, les gars sortent un album, ça s'en va sur scène, c'est un peu écœuré. Hutchence a les poches pleines de fric. OK? Il joue dans des salles, évidemment, beaucoup moins grandes qu'avant. Il pourrait être complètement découragé, mais il en met. Hier, il s'est promené de balcon en balcon. Écoute, il a risqué sa vie, on peut le dire, à 2 reprises au moins. C'était absolument incroyable.
Et il a risqué sa vie aussi parce qu'il a embrassé une fille qu'il ne connaissait pas bien.
Mais ça, tu sais, c'est la récompense quand même de Michael Hutchence. Il y a une charmante et jolie jeune fille, il paraît. Moi, je suis un peu viable. Des fois, j'ai pas vu la jeune fille qui l'a gratifié là, de ses French. Enfin, non, mais il faut bien le dire. Mais c'est pas pour ça que je voudrais être Michael Hutchence, ça veut dire. Non. Mais bon, quel chanteur de rock'n'roll. On peut peut-être aller le regarder, puis on parle après ça des petits reproches.
All the crowns